Hello friends, Handshake Sparkles. A very warm welcome to our amazing coin collection channel, Sparkles. In today's special video, we are going to explore the beautiful and historical Australian Elizabeth II 5 cents coins, especially the 1994, 2003, 2008, and 2014 editions Hedgehog Crown money. These small coins are not just ordinary currency, they are an important part of Australia's rich history, wildlife heritage, and royal tradition. On these coins, you can see the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, one of the most famous monarchs in Commonwealth history. On the reverse side, there is Australia's unique animal, the echidna, which is considered a powerful symbol of Australian wildlife, hedgehog. In this video, we will learn about white heavy check mark, the full history of the 1994, 2003, 2008, and 2014 Australian 5 cent coins. White heavy checkmark coin specifications, weight, diameter, and metal composition. White heavy checkmark, interesting details about the portraits of Queen Elizabeth II. White heavy check mark, the meaning and symbolism of the echidna design. White heavy checkmark, rare mint errors and collector value. White heavy checkmark, the amazing craftsmanship of the Royal Australian Mint. White heavy check mark, the market demand and collectible importance of these coins. If you love old coins, rare currency, and international coin collecting, then this video is going to be very interesting for you, Globe Sparkles. So make sure to watch the video until the end, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any new updates about rare and valuable coins. Bellfire. Let's start our journey into the fascinating world of Australian Elizabeth II 5 cents coins, crown. The Australian 1994 Elizabeth II 5 cents coin is one of the most recognizable modern coins of Australia and is an important part of the country's decimal currency system. This small coin was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and features the famous portrait of the Queen on the obverse side, symbolizing Australia's connection to the British Commonwealth. The 5 cent coin was introduced when Australia changed from pounds, shillings, and pence to decimal currency on 14 February 1966. By 1994, the coin had already become a common part of daily Australian life, used in shops, markets, public transport, and vending machines across the country. Although it carries a small face value, collectors and coin enthusiasts appreciate this coin because of its historical background, elegant design, and the role it played in Australia's modern monetary history. The coin is made from cupronickel, giving it a silver-colored appearance and strong durability. It weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures around 19.41 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the smallest circulating Australian coins of its time. Despite its tiny size, the details on the coin are sharp and artistic, reflecting the high-quality craftsmanship of the Royal Australian Mint. On the obverse side of the 1994 Australian 5 cent coin appears the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Raphael David Macluf. Around the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the year 1994. This portrait style was used on many Commonwealth coins during the late 20th century and presents the Queen wearing the royal diadem with a graceful and dignified appearance. Queen Elizabeth II became one of the longest-reigning monarchs in world history, and her image appeared on Australian coins for decades, making these pieces an important symbol of continuity and national identity. The reverse side of the coin features one of Australia's most unique native animals, the echidna. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the reverse shows a detailed echidna surrounded by the inscription, 5 cents. The echidna is a fascinating animal known for its spines and egg-laying nature, and its appearance on the coin highlights Australia's distinctive wildlife heritage. The design is admired for its realism and fine detail, especially considering the coin's small size. Many collectors believe the Australian decimal coin series is among the most beautiful in the world because it combines national symbols, wildlife, and elegant artistic engraving. The 1994 5 cent coin was produced in very large numbers for circulation, meaning it is still commonly found today in coin collections and old change jars. Because of its high mintage, most circulated examples are generally worth only a small premium above face value unless they are in uncirculated condition or contain rare minting errors. However, collectors actively search for coins with exceptional shine, proof quality, or unusual die varieties. Coins graded in high mint state condition by professional grading companies can sometimes sell for much higher prices than ordinary circulated pieces. The coin is especially popular among beginner collectors because it is affordable, easy to find, and connected to the globally recognized image of Queen Elizabeth II. Beyond its monetary value, the coin also represents an era of Australian history during the 1990s, a period of economic growth and modernization in the country. Today, the 1994 Australian Elizabeth II 5-cent coin remains a beloved collectible that combines royal history, Australian wildlife, and numismatic artistry in one small yet meaningful piece of metal. The Australia 1994 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is a small but historically important piece of Australian currency that reflects the nation's identity, heritage, and connection to the British monarchy. Since the introduction of decimal currency in Australia in 1966, the 5-cent coin has remained one of the fundamental denominations used in everyday trade and commerce. The 1994 issue continued this long tradition and became part of millions of transactions across the country. Although many people considered it an ordinary circulation coin, numismatists and collectors later recognized its cultural significance and artistic beauty. Coins like this are important because they capture a moment in time, representing the economy, political system, and artistic preferences of a particular era. The silver-colored appearance of the coin comes from its cupronickel composition, a durable metal mixture designed to withstand years of circulation. Even after decades, many examples of the 1994 5-cent coin still retain impressive details because of the strong material used in production. The Royal Australian Mint produced these coins with precision, ensuring consistent quality and clear engraving even on such a tiny surface. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side gives the coin a royal and international character. During 1994, Queen Elizabeth II had already ruled for more than 4 decades and was one of the most recognized figures in the world. Her portrait on Australian currency symbolized constitutional monarchy and Australia's membership in the Commonwealth. The image used on this coin was created by sculptor Raphael David Makhlouf, whose portrait style was used on many Commonwealth coins between the 1980s and 1990s. In this design, the Queen is shown wearing the George IV State diadem, giving her portrait a majestic and elegant appearance. Around the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the year 1994, carefully engraved in a balanced arrangement. Collectors often study these inscriptions closely because variations in lettering, alignment, or striking quality can sometimes create collectible mint errors. The obverse side not only identifies the monarch, but also connects Australia's coinage to a broader historical tradition shared by several nations that recognized Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. The reverse side of the coin is admired for its beautiful depiction of the echidna, one of Australia's most unusual native animals. The echidna belongs to a rare group of egg-laying mammals called monotremes and is known for its sharp spines and long snout. Designer Stuart Devlin chose this animal to represent Australia's unique wildlife heritage, and the design became one of the most beloved images in Australian decimal coinage. Despite the coin's very small size, the engravers managed to create fine textures and realistic details on the echidna's body, making the artwork impressive even under magnification. Above the animal appears the denomination 5 cents, clearly identifying the coin's value. Many wildlife lovers appreciate Australian coins because they celebrate native species rather than political symbols alone. The echidna design also helps distinguish the 5-cent coin from other denominations in the Australian decimal series, each of which features a different animal. This connection between currency and nature gives Australian coins a unique identity admired by collectors worldwide. In terms of specifications, the 1994 Australian 5-cent coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and has a diameter of about 19.41 millimeters. The coin has a smooth edge rather than a reeded one, which makes it easy to recognize by touch. Its cupronickel composition consists mainly of copper and nickel, providing both durability and corrosion resistance. These practical features were important because 5-cent coins circulated heavily and needed to survive years of use in cash transactions. During the 1990s, Australia still relied strongly on physical currency, so millions of these coins passed through banks, stores, restaurants, buses, and vending machines every day. Because of their extensive circulation, many surviving examples today show scratches, wear, and fatting details. However, uncirculated specimens preserved in mint rolls or coin sets can still display brilliant luster and sharp strikes, making them more desirable to collectors. Proof versions produced by the Royal Australian Mint are especially valued because of their mirror-like finish and superior detail. Collectors often search for unusual minting errors among 1994 Australian 5-cent coins. Error coins can include off-center strikes, double strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, or misaligned dies. Although such errors are rare, they can dramatically increase a coin's value depending on their uniqueness and condition. Some collectors also focus on coins with exceptional tunning, where natural chemical reactions create colorful rainbow effects on the metal surface over time. Professional grading companies evaluate these coins using detailed grading scales, and high-grade examples certified as mint state can sell for premium prices in the numismatic market. While ordinary circulated examples are usually worth only face value, rare condition pieces, or special errors may attract significant interest from serious collectors. The popularity of Queen Elizabeth II coins around the world also contributes to the demand for Australian decimal coins, especially after the end of her historic reign. Beyond collecting, the 1994 Australian 5-cent coin represents an important part of daily Australian life and national identity. It reminds people of a period before digital payments became dominant, when coins and cash were central to everyday shopping and communication. For many Australians, coins like this bring memories of school lunches, vending machines. Today, the coin remains a fascinating item for historians, collectors, and anyone interested in world currency. Even though it is physically small and carries a low denomination, the Australian 1994 Elizabeth II 5 cents coin tells a much larger story about monarchy, national culture, wildlife symbolism, and the evolution of Australian money through the modern era. The Australia 2003 Elizabeth II 5 cents coin is an important part of modern Australian decimal currency and remains one of the most widely recognized low-denomination coins issued by the Royal Australian Mint. Although the coin carries a small face value, it represents a rich combination of Australian heritage, royal history, wildlife symbolism, and numismatic craftsmanship. The 5-cent denomination was first introduced in Australia on 14 February 1966, the historic day when the country officially changed from the old British-style pounds, shillings, and pence system to decimal currency. By the year 2003, the Australian 5-cent coin had already become deeply connected with everyday Australian life, circulating in shops, banks, public transportation systems, restaurants, schools, and vending machines throughout the nation. Millions of Australians handled these coins daily, making them an ordinary yet essential part of the economy. Even though digital payments were beginning to grow in popularity during the early 2000s, coins like the 5-cent piece still played a major role in small cash transactions and retail trade. The 2003 Australian 5-cent coin was struck using cupronickel, a strong and durable alloy made primarily of copper and nickel. This metal composition gives the coin its silver appearance and helps protect it from corrosion, scratches, and long-term wear. The coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures about 19.41 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the smallest coins in Australian circulation. It also features a smooth edge, which helps distinguish it from some higher denominations that use reeded edges. Despite its compact size, the coin contains remarkable artistic detail and precise engraving. The Royal Australian Mint, located in Canberra, is internationally respected for producing high-quality circulation and commemorative coinage, and the 2003 5-cent coin reflects this standard of excellence. Many collectors admire Australian decimal coins because they successfully combine practical use with artistic beauty, especially through the inclusion of native Australian wildlife on the reverse sides. The obverse side of the 2003 Australian 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II, one of the most famous monarchs in world history. Her portrait on Australian coins symbolized Australia's constitutional monarchy and its long-standing connection with the British Commonwealth. In 2003, the portrait used on the coin was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, whose image of Queen Elizabeth II appeared on many Commonwealth coins beginning in the late 1990s. This portrait presents the Queen with a more realistic and mature appearance compared to earlier designs, reflecting both dignity and realism. Around the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the year 2003. The Queen is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of the most recognizable royal crowns associated with her public image. Collectors often compare different portrait styles used during Queen Elizabeth II's reign because each design reflects changing artistic trends and different periods of her life. The 2003 coin therefore holds additional interest as part of the later-era portrait series of Australian decimal coinage. The reverse side of the coin displays the famous Echidna design created by Stuart Devlin. The Echidna is one of Australia's most unique native animals and belongs to the rare category of egg-laying mammals known as monotremes. Covered with protective spines and equipped with a long snout for searching insects, the echidna is considered an iconic symbol of Australian wildlife. Stuart Devlin's design captures the animal in extraordinary detail, especially considering the very small size of the coin. The textured spines, facial features, and natural posture of the echidna demonstrate the high level of skill used by the engravers at the Royal Australian Mint. Above the animal appears the inscription 5 cents, clearly indicating the denomination. Australian decimal coins are famous worldwide because each denomination features different native animals, creating a visually distinctive and educational currency system. The Echidna design has remained on the 5-cent coin since decimalization in 1966, making it one of the longest-running reverse designs in Australian coin history. The mintage of the 2003 Australian 5-cent coin reached many millions because the denomination was needed extensively for daily commerce. Large mintages generally mean that circulated examples remain common today, and most coins found in ordinary condition are worth close to face value. However, collectors pay special attention to coins preserved in uncirculated or proof condition. Coins with bright mint luster, sharp details, and minimal wear are considered more desirable in the numismatic market. Proof versions produced for collectors often display mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs, making them visually striking compared to ordinary circulation pieces. Some collectors specifically seek coins from official mint sets issued in 2003 because these sets preserve the coins in superior condition. The Royal Australian Mint also produced collector products and annual sets during this period, helping preserve examples of Australian decimal coinage for future generations. Error coins are another important area of interest connected with the 2003 Australian 5-cent coin. Rare minting mistakes such as off-center strikes, die cracks, double strikes, clipped planchets, or weak strikes can increase a coin's value significantly. Although such errors are uncommon, collectors actively search through rolls and circulation finds hopping to discover unusual varieties. Some coins also develop attractive natural toning over time, displaying shades of gold, blue, purple, or rainbow coloration caused by environmental reactions with the metal surface. Beautifully toned coins can become especially desirable among advanced collectors because each piece develops unique patterns and colors. Professional grading services carefully examine these coins and assign condition grades, which strongly influence market value. High-grade mint state examples certified by grading companies can sometimes sell for surprisingly high prices despite the coin's low denomination. Historically, the year 2003 represented a period of economic development and technological transition in Australia. Electronic banking and card payments were expanding, but physical coins still remained an important part of everyday transactions. Coins like the 5-cent piece were commonly used for exact pricing, public telephones, parking meters, newspapers, and small retail purchases. Because these coins circulated so heavily, many surviving examples today show scratches, faded details, and signs of wear from years of handling. Nevertheless, even worn examples carry historical significance because they represent the economic life of ordinary Australians during the early 21st century. Coins are unique historical objects because they pass through countless hands and become silent witnesses to daily life across an entire nation. The Australia 2003 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is also important because it forms part of the long and historic series of Queen Elizabeth II coinage that circulated throughout the Commonwealth. Queen Elizabeth II appeared on more different coins than any monarch in modern history, and her portraits evolved across decades of coin design. Collectors often organize Australian decimal coins according to portrait types, dates, mintages, and special varieties. The 2003 issue belongs to the Ian Rank Broadley portrait era, which many collectors appreciate for its realism and dignified representation of the Queen. As time passes, coins from the Elizabeth II era continue gaining historical importance because they represent one of the longest royal reigns ever recorded. Today, the 2003 Australian 5-cent coin remains a favorite among world coin collectors, Australian history enthusiasts, and beginner numismatists. Its combination of royal imagery, native wildlife, durable composition, and practical history makes it much more meaningful than its small monetary value suggests. For some people, the coin is a simple memory of daily life and childhood savings. For others, it is a collectible artifact connected to Australia's national identity and the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Whether found in circulation, preserved in mint condition, or displayed in a professional collection, the Australia 2003 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin continues to tell a fascinating story about monarchy, wildlife, craftsmanship, and the evolution of modern Australian currency. The Australia 2003 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin also represents an era before the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, making it part of a historic royal legacy that lasted for generations. After her death, many collectors and historians began re-evaluating coins from her reign as important cultural artifacts connected to one of the most influential monarchs in world history. Coins bearing her image circulated across dozens of countries and territories, creating a global numismatic legacy unmatched by most rulers. Australian coins from the Elizabeth II period therefore hold additional sentimental and historical value because they represent continuity, stability, and shared Commonwealth history over many decades. For many people, The 2003 Australian 5-cent coin may seem ordinary because it was once so common in everyday life. Yet when examined closely, it becomes clear that this small coin carries a surprisingly rich story involving monarchy, wildlife economics, art, minting technology, and national identity. Whether collected for historical potential or simple nostalgia, the Australia 2003 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin remains a meaningful piece of modern Australian heritage and an enduring symbol of the country's decimal currency system. The Australia 2008 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is an important and recognizable part of Australia's decimal currency system and represents more than 4 decades of modern Australian coinage history. Introduced as part of the decimal currency family first launched in 1966, the 5-cent coin remained one of the smallest and most frequently used denominations in the country by the year 2008. Although the coin carried only a small monetary value, it played a major role in daily commercial life across Australia. Millions of these coins circulated through supermarkets, banks, schools, restaurants, buses, vending machines, and retail stores every single day. During the late 2000s, electronic payment systems and bank cards were becoming more common, yet cash transactions still relied heavily on low-denomination coins like the 5-cent piece. Because of this widespread circulation, the 2008 coin became familiar to nearly every Australian citizen. Today, collectors and historians look at these coins not simply as money, but as historical objects that reflect Australia's economy, culture, monarchy, and artistic traditions during the early 21st century. The 2008 Australian 5-cent coin was produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra using cupronickel, a durable metallic alloy composed mainly of copper and nickel. This composition gives the coin its silver-colored appearance and excellent resistance to corrosion and long-term wear. The coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures around 19.41 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the smallest coins circulating in Australia at the time. It also features a smooth edge, helping people distinguish it from larger denominations with reeded edges. Despite the coin's tiny size, the level of detail visible in both the obverse and reverse designs demonstrates the advanced minting technology and engraving skill used by the Royal Australian Mint. Producing millions of identical coins with precise details requires sophisticated machinery, careful quality control, and expert die engraving. The Royal Australian Mint had already earned international respect by 2008 for its innovation and craftsmanship, especially in the production of collector coins and commemorative issues alongside standard circulation currency. The obverse side of the Australia 2008 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II, who was one of the most recognized and historically significant monarchs in modern history. The portrait used on this coin was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, whose realistic image of the Queen appeared on Australian and Commonwealth coinage beginning in the late 1990s. Unlike earlier portraits that emphasized youthful elegance, the Rank Broadley design presented Queen Elizabeth II with a more natural and mature appearance, reflecting both realism and dignity. The Queen is shown wearing the famous Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of the royal family's most iconic pieces of jewelry. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the date 2008. These inscriptions clearly identify the monarch, issuing country, and year of production. Collectors often study subtle differences in royal portraits because each design period represents a different era in the Queen's extraordinarily long reign. Coins like the 2008 Australian 5-cent piece therefore serve as miniature historical records documenting changes in royal portraiture and public symbolism over time. The reverse side of the coin displays one of the most famous animal designs in Australian currency history, the Echidna created by Stuart Devlin. The echidna is a fascinating native Australian animal known for its sharp spines and unusual biological characteristics. It belongs to a rare group of egg-laying mammals called monotremes, making it one of the world's most unique creatures. Stuart Devlin's design captures the echidna with extraordinary detail, especially considering the very small size of the coin. The engraved spines, facial features, and body texture create a highly realistic image admired by collectors worldwide. Above the animal appears the denomination inscription, 5 cents. Since decimalization in 1966, the echidna design has remained on the Australian 5-cent coin, becoming one of the longest-running and most recognizable reverse designs in the nation's coinage history. Australian decimal coins are especially respected because they showcase native wildlife rather than relying solely on political or military imagery. This artistic choice helped create a strong national identity within Australia's currency system and distinguished Australian coins from many other world coin series. The year 2008 itself was historically significant around the world because it coincided with the global financial crisis. While Australia managed the economic situation better than many countries, the international financial environment still influenced public attitudes toward money, savings, and spending. Coins circulating during this period therefore became connected with an important moment in modern economic history. The 5-cent coin continued playing a role in everyday retail pricing and exact cash transactions despite increasing use of electronic banking. For many Australians, these coins were associated with ordinary daily routines such as grocery shopping, public transportation, school canteens, and vending machines. Because coins passed through countless hands over time, each circulated example silently reflects years of social and economic activity within Australian society. The mintage of the 2008 Australian 5-cent coin reached many millions because the denomination remained essential for circulation needs. Large mintages mean that most ordinary circulated examples are still relatively common today and generally hold modest market value. However, condition plays an extremely important role in coin collecting. Coins preserved in uncirculated condition with full mint luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details are considered more desirable than heavily worn pieces. Proof versions produced specifically for collectors are especially admired because of their mirror-like backgrounds and frosted raised designs. The Royal Australian Mint released annual proof sets and uncirculated mint sets during 2008, allowing collectors to preserve coins in superior condition directly from the mint. Such collector products have become valuable references for studying Australian decimal coinage from this era. Collectors also search for rare error varieties connected with the 2008 Australian 5-cent coin. Minting errors can occur during production because of die damage, alignment mistakes, metal flaws, or machinery malfunctions. Examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, rotated dies, or weakly struck details. These unusual pieces often attract strong interest because they are much scarcer than ordinary circulation coins. Error coins provide insight into the complex industrial process behind modern coin manufacturing and add excitement to coin collecting. Some collectors spend years searching through rolls of Australian coins hopping to discover valuable minting mistakes hidden among ordinary change. The artistic and historical value of the 2008 Australian 5-cent coin has increased over time because it belongs to the long coinage legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. Her reign lasted more than 70 years, making her one of the longest-serving monarchs in world history. Coins bearing her image circulated across dozens of countries and territories, creating an enormous global numismatic legacy. After the end of her reign, collectors and historians began viewing Elizabeth II coinage as an important historical category representing an entire era of modern Commonwealth history. The Australian 5-cent coin from 2008 is therefore more than just small change. It is part of a worldwide historical tradition connected with one of the most famous monarchs ever recorded. Many collectors appreciate the Australia 2008 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin because it combines simplicity with deep symbolism. The obverse reflects constitutional monarchy and continuity, while the reverse celebrates Australia's unique natural environment through the image of the echidna. The coin also demonstrates the technical excellence of the Royal Australian Mint and the practical durability required for heavy circulation. Even though millions of these coins were produced, every piece still carries historical importance because it participated in the daily life of Australian society during a significant modern era. Today, the Australia 2008 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin remains a popular collectible among world coin enthusiasts, Australian numismatists, and beginners entering the hobby of coin collecting. Some people collect it for nostalgia and childhood memories, with Queen Elizabeth II on world coinage. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley also reflects important artistic and historical developments. Earlier coin portraits of the Queen often emphasized idealized beauty and formal royal elegance. However, the Rank Broadley portrait introduced a more realistic and mature representation, showing the Queen as an experienced and respected monarch rather than an idealized young ruler. This portrait style was praised for its honesty and dignity and became widely used throughout the Commonwealth. On the 2008 Australian 5-cent coin, the Queen's image serves not only as a representation of the monarchy but also as a symbol of continuity and constitutional stability. Throughout her reign, Queen Elizabeth II appeared on coins from dozens of nations, making her one of the most reproduced individuals in numismatic history. Australian coins featuring her portrait now carry additional emotional and historical significance because they belong to the long era of Elizabethan coinage that shaped modern Commonwealth currency. The Australia 2014 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is an important part of Australia's modern decimal currency system. and reflects both the nation's rich heritage and its connection to one of the most famous monarchs in world history, Queen Elizabeth II. Although the coin carries a very small monetary denomination, it represents decades of Australian numismatic tradition and continues to attract collectors from around the world. The 5-cent denomination has been part of Australian currency since the introduction of decimalisation on 14 February 1966, when Australia replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler decimal structure. By 2014, the Australian 5-cent coin had already circulated for nearly half a century and remained one of the most recognisable coins in everyday Australian life. Millions of these coins pass through supermarkets, banks, schools, transport systems, restaurants, and retail shops every day, making the coin a familiar object to nearly every citizen of the country. Even though electronic payments and digital banking had become increasingly common by 2014, small denomination coins like the 5-cent piece still played an essential role in cash transactions and price calculations throughout Australia. The 2014 Australian 5-cent coin was produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra using cupronickel, a metallic alloy composed mainly of copper and nickel. This material gives the coin its silver appearance and provides excellent durability against wear and corrosion. The coin weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures around 19.41 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the smallest circulating coins in Australia. It also features a smooth edge, helping distinguish it from certain higher-value coins with reeded edges. Despite its tiny size, the coin contains an impressive amount of artistic detail and precision engraving. Producing such coins requires advanced minting technology, expert die engraving, and strict quality control processes. The Royal Australian Mint is internationally respected for producing high-quality circulation coins, commemorative pieces, and collector products. And the 2014 5-cent coin demonstrates the Mint's continued commitment to craftsmanship and technical excellence. The obverse side of the Australia 2014 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II in a portrait designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait style had been used on Australian coins since the late 1990s and presented the Queen in a realistic and dignified manner. Unlike earlier portraits that emphasized youthful idealization, the Rank Broadley design portrayed Queen Elizabeth II with natural maturity and regal authority. The Queen is shown wearing the famous Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of the most iconic pieces of royal jewelry associated with her public image. Around the portrait appear the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the year 2014. The portrait not only identified the reigning monarch but also symbolized Australia's constitutional monarchy and historical connection to the Commonwealth. Collectors often study different portraits of Queen Elizabeth II because they represent various artistic interpretations created during different decades of her exceptionally long reign. Coins from the Elizabeth II era are historically important because they document one of the longest monarchies ever recorded in modern history. The reverse side of the coin features the famous Echidna design created by Stuart Devlin, one of Australia's most celebrated coin designers and silversmiths. The echidna is one of Australia's most unusual native animals and belongs to a rare category of mammals known as monotremes, which lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. Covered in protective spines and equipped with a long snout used to search for ants and insects, the echidna became a perfect symbol of Australia's unique wildlife heritage. Devlin's design captures the animal with remarkable detail despite the small size of the coin. The engraved spines, body texture, and facial features display extraordinary artistic precision. Above the echidna appears the denomination inscription, 5 cents. Since the beginning of decimal currency in 1966, the echidna has remained on the Australian 5-cent coin, making it one of the country's longest-running coin designs. The use of native animals on Australian decimal coins helped create a strong national identity within the country's currency system and distinguished Australian coins internationally. The year 2014 represented a modern period in Australian history, during which digital technology and electronic financial systems were rapidly expanding. Online banking, smartphone payments, and contactless transactions were becoming increasingly popular, yet physical coins still remained an essential part of commerce. The 5-cent coin was commonly used in exact pricing, cash registers, vending machines, and small purchases. Many Australians still carried coins daily, especially for transport fares, convenience stores, and local markets. Coins from this era therefore represent a transitional period in monetary history, when traditional cash circulation coexisted with rapidly developing digital payment systems. Historians and collectors often find modern circulation coins fascinating because they document how economic habits and payment technologies evolved during the early 21st century. The mintage of the 2014 Australian 5-cent coin reached many millions because the denomination remained necessary for circulation throughout the country. High mintages generally mean that ordinary circulated examples remain common today. However, condition greatly influences collector interest and market value. Coins preserved in uncirculated condition with bright mint luster, sharp details, and minimal surface marks are considered much more desirable than heavily worn circulation examples. The Royal Australian Mint also produced proof versions and collector sets containing 2014 coinage. Proof coins are especially admired because they feature mirror-like backgrounds and frosted raised designs created through specialized minting techniques. Collectors often purchase annual proof sets to preserve modern Australian coins in the highest possible quality. Many numismatists actively search for rare minting errors among 2014 Australian 5-cent coins. Mint errors may include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, weak strikes, or rotated reverses. Such mistakes occur during the coin production process and can transform ordinary coins into highly collectible items. Error coins are fascinating because they provide insight into the industrial minting process and demonstrate how even modern high-precision machinery can occasionally produce unusual results. Some collectors dedicate years to searching through circulation coins hopping to discover rare varieties or valuable minting errors hidden among ordinary change. Beautiful natural tunning can also increase collector appeal, as some coins develop colorful shades of gold, blue, purple, or rainbow hues over time because of environmental reactions with the metal's surface. The Australia 2014 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin is also historically important because it belongs to the later years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, a period during which her image had already become deeply connected with Commonwealth coinage worldwide. Queen Elizabeth II appeared on more coins than any monarch in modern history, and her portraits circulated across dozens of countries and territories for generations. Coins like the 2014 Australian 5-cent piece therefore form part of a vast international numismatic legacy linked to one of the most influential and longest-serving monarchs ever recorded. After the conclusion of her reign, collectors increasingly viewed Elizabeth II coinage as an important historical category representing an entire era of modern Commonwealth history and culture. Another fascinating aspect of the 2014 Australian 5-cent coin is its educational value for beginning collectors. Because the coin remains affordable and widely available, it provides an accessible starting point for people entering the hobby of numismatics. Young collectors often begin by assembling decimal coin sets from different years, learning about history, wildlife, economics, and art through their collections. Coins like the 2014 5-cent piece help introduce people to concepts such as grading, minting technology, metal composition, and historical symbolism. Even though the coin's face value is small, its educational and cultural value can be much greater. Today, the Australia 2014 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin remains a popular collectible among Australian coin enthusiasts and world numismatists alike. Some people collect it for nostalgia and memories of daily life, while others appreciate its artistic beauty, royal connection, or wildlife symbolism. Whether preserved in mint condition, discovered in circulation, or displayed in a professional collection, the coin continues to represent Australian identity, decimal currency history, and the enduring global legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. Although physically small, the Australia 2014 Elizabeth II 5-cent coin tells a much larger story about monarchy, modern society, technological change, wildlife heritage, and the continuing evolution of Australian money through the 21st century today. The Australia 2014 Elizabeth enthusiasts around the world. Its combination of royal portraiture, native Australian symbolism, advanced minting craftsmanship, and historical relevance makes it far more meaningful than its small denomination suggests. Whether viewed as a collectible, a historical artifact, or a symbol of Australian identity, the coin remains an enduring reminder of the country's decimal currency heritage and the extraordinary global legacy of Queen Elizabeth II on modern coinage history.